In this video, we're going to show you how to replace a ball joint on your Buick Enclave. This will be located behind the front wheel. Let's get started. Using a 22mm socket, remove the 6 lug nuts. Remove the wheel. Using a 34mm socket, remove the axle nut. Remove the 10mm bolt for the brake line bracket. Remove the bolt. Pull the bracket off. Using a 21mm wrench, we're going to remove the ball joint nut. I'm going to use a little bit of rust penetrant. Remove the nut. I'm going to use a pickle fork and separate the ball joint from the knuckle. Using a large pry bar with a hook attachment, pull down on the control arm and pull the ball joint stud out of the knuckle. Pull the knuckle towards the back. I have a ratchet strap hooked around our knuckle assembly. When you do this, be sure you're not pulling on this brake line. We want to be on the inside of that line. Wrap it around. I have it going through these 2 studs, and then I have it hooked back to a bracket on the bottom of the car. We're going to slowly start to put tension on this. As we do, we're going to look at all of our cables, wires, hoses, make sure none of them are getting pulled, kinked, or twisted. I want this assembly to slightly twist out for me. Just like that. We're going to cut X's in the top of each rivet. Repeat this process for all 3 rivets. Using an air hammer with a chisel bit, we're going to chisel all of these pieces off. Going to use a grinding wheel, clean just the top, make sure we got all of the material. Using a needle bit, we're going to push these rivets out through the bottom. Remove the ball joint, install the ball joint, get all of the bolts started. These should just drop right through the control arm. Ours fit, you just have to thread them in. Get all 3 nuts started on the bottom. Using an 18mm wrench, we're going to hold the head of the bolt while using an 18mm socket to snug down the nut. Torque the ball joint nuts to 50 foot-pounds. Remove the nut from the ball joint. Release the tension on the ratchet strap. Remove the ratchet strap. Be sure the axle splines line up with the hub. Pull down on the control arm. Install the ball joint into the knuckle. Install the ball joint nut. Get it started by hand. Snug the ball joint nut down. You can see our ball joint stud started to spin. We're going to put a jack under the ball joint and push up and seat it into the knuckle. Try and stop the stud from spinning. Since I'm using a box end wrench, every few turns I'm checking and making sure I can still get it out. We don't want to get it stuck in between the axle and the stud. The torque spec for the ball joint is 30 foot-pounds and an additional 90 degrees. We can't get a torque wrench in there, so we're going to use our wrench and we're just going to get it nice and tight. Remove the jack. Install the axle nut. Install 2 lug nuts. Using a pry bar to hold the hub, we're going to torque the axle nut to 173 foot-pounds. Remove the lug nuts. Install the brake line bracket. Install the bolt. Snug it down. Install the wheel. Get all of the lug nuts started. Snug the nuts down. Torque the wheels to 140 foot-pounds in a star pattern. And you're good to go.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.